Hi guys and welcome back to Bro Review Made. Today I'm very excited for this new series because this is the video that I wanted to be out there when I first started woodworking. Because a lot of us, we don't have money and the only materials we have are pallets. And there's a lot of videos out there showing, oh, I made £1,000 off a pallet, but they don't really show how everything works. They just made the product, they give you the numbers, and you're just meant to believe them. They don't show you any of the shipping process or any of this stuff, how you meant to put it online, how you meant to advertise it. So we're going to be going through the whole thing. So the first episode, what we're going to do is we're going to make the actual table. Second episode, we're going to be listing it, and then, listing it, showing how we're going to advertise it, pushing it all out there, showing you guys everything and every step that I do. And then the last episode is going to be tallying up the costs, like how much this costs to make, how much money we've made off it, how much it costs to postage and package it. And yeah, we're going to be going through every single little step. So hopefully this is going to be like an A to Z video. So if you want to do the same thing, you can look back through the series, follow everything I did, and get these products out there. And one thing I am looking for myself, because I haven't actually done this before online, so we're going to be going through this for the first time together, is I want to see if I can make minimum wage or over minimum wage on this table. Because if I can do this 4 times a month, because I only get the weekends to do this because I have a job, unfortunately, then it would be good if I can make, let's say, an extra £200 to £500 a week. So, I could eventually quit my job one day and then do this full time. So we're going to be seeing if all that's possible. We're going to be seeing how it all works, the ins and outs of selling online, shipping it, and doing all that. So very excited for this, and let's get cracked on. Hopefully this helps you as much as it's going to help me. Right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to get a straight edge on both of these sides here. Now, pallet wood isn't that long, so usually I don't really even need a straightening jig on my table saw. Usually, as long as I got a fence that runs the whole length of the table, I can just go straight through and it leaves a straight enough edge. But by all means, if you want to go above and beyond, make a straightening jig. Put these all on a straightening jig. Get one side straight, reference that to the fence, and then you'll have both sides perfectly flat and straight. But this is how I do it, just because every time I do it, it comes out straight. So I don't see the point in making a straightening jig. So why do we need to make these straight? Well, we want a seamless glue up, and these are never ever flat. They always have little humps in them. These are only rough cut. They're made for pallets. They're not precision or anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to get all the bits of pallet wood that we have. We're going to rip them all down, and even these ones where they have the little bevels or chamfers taken out of them, we want to get everything completely flat. I'm going to cut up all the pallet wood I have, so I have a nice wood selection to choose which ones and, orient the grain to make it look nicest. So I'll set you down. We run all this through the table saw, and I'll come back to you when we've got all the straight edges, and then we can go to a glue up. Right, so we've gotten these all straight now. I've got a straight edge and everything. I've put these in a pattern that I like. I've made sure that all the nail holes, they're all facing the same way, because they're quite difficult to fill when they're on this side where the nail holes are bigger, obviously where the nail head comes through. So I like to keep them all the same way, because the smaller side where the nails are the smallest are a lot more easier to fill. So little pro tip for you if you're a beginner starting out using pallets. And I've made sure that the grain all looks very similar, so when it's all glued up, when it's all seamless, it kind of just looks like one big plank of wood. And yeah, because I think I'm going to be burning this table as well, the grain's going to really pop, so we need to make sure it looks nice now, so when we come to finishing it, it looks nice then. So I've made two tops out of this. This is probably going to be a hallway table because it's not wide enough to be a coffee table. This one is going to be about the perfect size for a coffee table. So I'm probably just going to show this one in this video. Don't want to make this too long and too complicated by adding 2 different projects into it. So yeah, this is the coffee table. We've got a straight edge and everything. We're ready to glue up. One thing I'm going to say as well, if you are a beginner watching this video, try to stay away from the F-clamps. I mean, F-clamps are good for certain jobs and small stuff. But when you're working on these bigger tables, it's better to have pipe clamps. They're only a couple of extra quid. but they keep everything a lot more straighter. You can get a lot more even pressure with them, and they're just generally easier and better to use. So stay away from F-clamps for big glue ups like this. Use pipe clamps or parallel clamps. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. But I'm going to quit rambling, and we're going to get all these glued up. I'm going to glue them up in 12-inch increments so I can get them through the surface planer. Well, not 12-inch increments. 12 inches is the maximum I can use. So, you know, I'll be gluing them up like this after I surface plane them, and then gluing them back up together like that. So, like I said, again, I'll quit rambling and we'll get gluing. You don't want to use too much clamping pressure, and if you have to use more clamping pressure, make sure you put these clamps on alternate sides so the table doesn't bow, because I've done that before and it's very difficult to get it back straight again, if you can even get it back straight again. Actually, while this is gluing up, I figured we might as well do the holes and all the cracks and stuff that are already in there. So this is, I know this is pine dust from when I've done previous projects, so I'm just going to pour that into a container, get a little bit like that in there. I want to take this wood glue, make sure it is a clear drying wood glue, or else these holes will come out darker than the rest of it. But to be honest, if we're burning this table, which I think we are going to burn this table, then you know, you won't notice on if it's darker or not, because the whole table is going to be dark. But might as well keep everything looking the same. So we'll use this, good practice. Want to make a nice little paste. Do with a bit more sawdust in there, so we'll lock a bit more in. There we go, and you want this sort of consistency, a bit like batter. So scrape all that off, and we'll fill all these holes up. I'll put you on the side there. Right guys, so we've taken everything out the clamps, and we were about to put them through the surface planer, but it turns out that you have to press the button on a time lapse for it to actually start recording. So we've already gone ahead and done that. Sorry I didn't get to show that, I just went to go check my time lapse then, and I was like, oh, for God's sake. So sorry about that, but we've got everything nice and flat. Everything's ready to be glued back up together, because these are obviously in different halves, aren't they? We'll be gluing them back together, but first of all, I need to clean this up. So I'm going to do that, and I'll glue this up off camera, and we'll move on to the next steps. Right, so we've got everything cut up. Everything's roughly the same size now. All the sides are all nice and flat through the surface planer, so we are ready to glue them up. And we are going to glue them up in one big slab. So hopefully we can get these individual legs, you know, taken apart easy enough, and they don't stick to each other, because I've had that done before. But I don't learn from my mistakes, so let's crack on. So a good thing to do in this situation as well is, if you have some parchment paper or greaseproof paper, whatever you want to call it, is to put it in between these slats, because we're going to be gluing this up in one big slab. But I am just going to wing it, and hopefully they come back apart. So let's get all them together like that, and we'll tighten down the clamps on them. So I've marked everything out. I've got a straight edge here. I've got my router ready with just a normal cheap bit in it. And yeah, we'll go through. I'm going to try to do it in one pass. I've already done one side. I did 3 passes on there. But I'm curious to see if I can get this done in one pass. So let's give it a go. So take these clamps off, take the straight edge off, grab me square. Let's have a look at this side. Yep, she's good, that side. And because those 2 sides are parallel, it's obviously going to be good this side as well. Oh, there's a bit of a burr on the end there. Quickly just knock that off so I can get an accurate reading. Yep. Right, so it's a new day. We've got the tabletop all squared up. Off camera, I rounded over the edges with a router and I filled in the holes on the other side as well. But I've taken these out of the clamps and we're ready to square them all up. So let's hop on the table saw and do that. I've made this jig so I can make the tapers on the legs, and because I want my legs a little bit wider, what I'm going to do is only cut this taper halfway down and then use the off cut on the top side to make the top a little bit wider, so we end up with a leg that's looking like that. So I've already done this one obviously, so we'll quickly run through and we'll do the other 3. Right, so they're all cut now. I'm going to quickly just glue those offcuts onto the top off camera and we'll get on to the next thing. So we got all that in the clamps, all the legs, the gluing up, so I'll have to crack on with that tomorrow. But right now we're going to sand down the desktop, so we'll sand it down and then we're going to burn it because I like me burn tables and I haven't done a burn table in a very, very long time. So we'll sand it down and we'll burn it and we'll get on to finishing the tabletop. And then we need to figure out how we're going to fit these legs to the table because I want to ship this product, so I can't just glue and screw them onto the table like I used to. And the tabletop isn't that thick, so I'm not sure if my threaded inserts will be too big for the table. So I'm going to have to figure that out, but I'll have a look at it off camera. So we'll crack on with it, we'll sand this table down and we'll get burning. So as you can tell from that time lapse, I've run out of gas. So I need to go pick up some more butane for my little torch because it's just not doing what I want it to do. I'm slightly worried as well because there's a lot more cracking than I was expecting going on. So maybe this might have to get scrapped because just looking at it, let me flip the camera over. I do like cracking and I think it looks very nice, but you can see here there's some quite severe cracks going on. So, and obviously we've barely even burnt the table. So I need to figure out what the crack is. I mean, I could just do a very, very light burn on this table, but I really, really like a nice, deep, dark burn. And then, so I can sand it back and it just looks a lot nicer like that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go buy some more butane, burn the whole table, see what it's like, see if it's salvageable, because obviously I can't fill these cracks in with epoxy or anything like that, because that would mean I have to sand the table back, which would mean I'd have to burn it again, which would mean I get even more cracking. So hopefully this table is salvageable. A little bit worried. I might have to make some supports for the legs, you know, things that run across the table to make sure it keeps intact. But I might just be overthinking it. I've had plenty of tables in the past with big cracks in, and I'm a person that loves the cracks and stuff. Wouldn't want big cracks on like a desk or like a dining table or something that I'm going to be touching often. But for a coffee table where it's just, you know, somewhere where you chuck magazines or, you know, your coffee or something like that while you're watching telly, it's perfectly fine. And yeah, I find cracks quite aesthetically pleasing. But we also want this to be structurally sound, so we don't want massive cracks. I do want some cracks, but not big ones. So I'm going to quit rambling. I'm going to go get some more butane, and hopefully we can get it to work. Right, so I'm back from the shops now. Unfortunately, they don't have any butane for my torch, so the table's going to have to stay like this for a week while I order some stuff online, which I need to order some fittings to fit the legs to the table anyway, and look around for some threaded inserts that I can use on this table. So I'm going to have to cut this one early just so I can get this episode out on time, and we'll split the first video up into 2 videos. So sorry about that, guys, but you know, it's the way things go. Sometimes things don't go to plan. But this is where we're at so far with the table. We've burnt a little bit of it, need to burn some more. All we've got to do is finish burning it, sand it down a little bit so it's nice and smooth, put some lacquer and stuff on there, get those legs and everything finished that are over there, and we'll be done with the actual table, and then we can move on to the listing and selling the table. But right now, what we have is, well, I'll flip the camera around so you can see properly. So far, we spent about 6 hours on this project. This is how much we've spent so far on glue, driving around to collect the pallets and the finish, but we haven't used the finish yet. So yeah, I'll be using about £5 worth of lacquer. These are all the tools that I've used that, you know, I will tally up at the end to show you. If you're a complete beginner and don't have any tools whatsoever, you know, show you how to get into this all and what are the minimum amount of tools you'll be able to buy. And I'll put a link in the description for all the tools I've been using in this video. So if you're a complete beginner and you're looking to buy some tools and get into this whole craft and, you know, start off with little pallet tables and stuff just like I did, I'll put those videos, not videos, I'll put those tools in the description so you can grab everything and you know works properly. So yeah, that's the end of this video. I'll see you in the next one, hopefully in about a week or so. So stick around, subscribe to the channel. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers. I really want to hit that soon. We're currently sat at 717, I think. So it'd be really nice if you could leave a subscription and get me to 1,000 subs, because I really want that. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy your day.